Zohran Mamdani is the mayor of New York City. Here's his speech. Oh. Oh. He's doing the Hitler thing. Oh. What are they saying?
Thank you, my friends. The sun may have set over our city this evening, but as Eugene Debs once said, I can see the dawn of a better day for humanity. For as long as we can remember, the working people of New York have been told by the wealthy and the well-connected that power does not belong in their hands. Fingers bruised from lifting boxes on the warehouse floor, palms calloused from delivery bike handlebars, knuckles scarred with kitchen burns. These are not hands that have been allowed to hold power.
So, who exactly told these people that they had to work in restaurants? I mean, look, I used to wait tables. I never went to college. I got sick of doing that shit. I learned how to be a data engineer and went and got a fucking job and stepped my shit up. And I did that while Biden was elected, while Biden was a president. So I just don't understand this thing of like these people are being oppressed and kept. Ain't fucking nobody telling them, one, to live in New York, and ain't nobody telling them to have the kind of job that they have. I mean, I suffered a lot to get to where I'm at, but I struggled. It was hard. Didn't nobody give me shit. Nothing. The fuck you talking about, man?
And yet over the last 12 months, you have dared to reach for something greater.
Obviously not, because you're still working at the fucking restaurant and you're still delivering on the Uber bike. Well, you're going to do it for them? You're going to make their lives better?
Tonight, against all odds, we have grasped it.
I mean, not really. I mean, everybody knew you were going to win. You're pretty charismatic. Like, he's charismatic. I'll give him that. Everybody knew he was going to win. He's a change candidate, obviously.
The future is in our hands. My friends, we have toppled a political dynasty.
That might be true. I don't really know much about New York politics.
I wish Andrew Cuomo only the best in private life. But let tonight be the final time I utter his name as we turn the page on a politics that abandons the many and answers only to the few.
I mean, that guy was pretty old. I mean, it was time for him to go.
New York, tonight you have delivered a mandate for change, a mandate for a new kind of politics, a mandate for a city we can afford, and a mandate for a government that delivers exactly that. On January 1st, I will be sworn in as the mayor of New York City. And that is is because of you. So before I say anything else, I must say this. Thank you. Thank you to the next generation of New Yorkers who refuse to accept that the promise of a better future was a relic of the past.
Yeah, see, everybody's like, what? Like, I feel like everybody just kind of knows. Like, it's just like, what the fuck are you talking about? Just give us free shit. You said you were going to give us free buses and you're going to make rent cheaper. So I don't know what you're talking about. Just give me my fucking shit, man.
You showed that when politics speaks to you without condescension, we can usher in a new era of leadership.
Like, let's be honest. He got voted in because he said, I'm going to give you a bunch of free shit. And people believed it. Like, I don't think it was anything like where they like really support this guy and what he stands for. I just think they think he's going to give them stuff that's going to make their lives better. Simply.
We will fight for you because we are you. Or as we say on Steinway...
You're not. You're not. You ain't never washed a fucking dish in your life. You ain't never worked at a restaurant. You ain't never had to deliver food on a bike in the rain. You ain't never had to drive... And I've driven Uber, too. You never had to drive people around, drunk people, at 3 o'clock in the morning... to try to make just a little bit of money so that you could pay your rent at the end of the month and have nothing left over. I have. You fucking haven't. That's the thing, man. All these people like talking about socialism and stuff. All these people talking about this shit are rich or came from rich families. Like, I want to hear from somebody who's like, hey, I'm going to give you some free shit. I'm going to do a bunch of things for you. I've been where you're at. I know what you're going through. But the thing is, like, you're never going to get somebody that has been through that is going to talk like that. Because they had to work hard to get where they're at. And they're never going to see that as a solution.
Ana minkum wa ilaykum.
What the fuck does that
mean? Thank you to those so often forgotten by the politics of our city who made this movement their own. I speak of Yemeni bodega owners and Mexican abuelas, Senegalese taxi drivers and Uzbek nurses, Trinidadian line cooks and Ethiopian aunties. Yes, aunties. To every New Yorker in Kensington and Midwood and Hunts Point, know this. This city is your city, and this democracy is yours too.
That's a good message.
This campaign is about people like Wesley, an $11.99 organizer I met outside of Elmhurst Hospital on Thursday night. A New Yorker who lives elsewhere, who commutes 2 hours each way from Pennsylvania because rent is too expensive in this city. It's about people like the woman I met on the BX33 years ago, who said to me, I used to love New York, but now it's just where I live. And it's about people like Richard, the taxi driver I went on a 15-day hunger strike with outside of City Hall, who still has to drive his cab 7 days a week. My brother, we are in City Hall now. This victory is for all of them. And it's for all of you. The more than 100,000 volunteers who built this campaign into an unstoppable force. Because of you, we will make this city one that working people can love and live in again. With every door knocked, every petition signature earned, and every hard-earned conversation, you eroded the cynicism that has come to define our politics. Now, I know that I have asked for much from you over this last year. Time and again, you have answered my calls. But I have one final request. New York City, breathe this moment in. We have held our breath for longer than we know. We have held it in anticipation of defeat. Held it because the air has been knocked out of our lungs too many times to count. Held it because we cannot afford to exhale. Thanks to all of those who sacrificed so much, we are breathing in the air of a city that has been reborn. To my campaign team, who believed when no one else did, and who took an electoral project and turned it into so much more, I will never be able to express the depth of my gratitude. You can in community centers as we filled in the ledger of democracy, of community safety that tackles the mental health crisis and homelessness crises head on.
Oh, here we go.
And again,
Trying to find
in the
some
hallways of
policy stuff that
NYCHA
he's talking
developments
about.
where they have long flickered. Fast and free. And deliver universal child care across our city.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Years from now, may our only regret,
All right, hold on. Let me find the beginning of this.
where New Yorkers expect from their leaders a bold vision of what we will achieve,
All right, here we go.
rather than a list of excuses for what we are too timid to attempt.
Hey, I hear you. I'm going to remember that. We're all going to remember that. Because I'm very curious to see how this stuff that you're proposing is going to play out. If it works out, I might move to New York. Because the stuff he's promising actually sounds pretty good. If it works out, I might go there. But, you know, you're talking about excuses. I don't want to hear nothing. Oh, it's Trump's fault. It's everybody's fault. Oh, this and that. Whenever you try to do this shit and it doesn't work out. So I agree. We don't want to hear any excuses. Let's see what happens.
Central to that vision will be the most ambitious agenda to tackle the cost of living crisis that this city has seen since the days of Fiorello LaGuardia.
Don't know who that is either. All right, let's hear it. Come on.
An agenda that will freeze the rents for more than 2 million rent-stabilized tenants.
Okay.
Make buses fast and free.
Fast, free buses. Okay.
And deliver universal child care across our city.
All right. Hey, look, if you can do those things, if you can do those three things, honestly, I don't know how much freezing the rent would work in New York because the rent is already really high. But if you can do that, free child care, like how long do you have to live in New York to get the free child care? Like, can I go to New York now and get free child care, or do I have to live there for a certain amount of time? How does that work? Because if I can just go there, like I might just go there and start popping out babies.
Years from now, may our only regret be that this day took so long to come. This new age will be one of relentless improvement. We will hire thousands more teachers. We will cut waste from a bloated bureaucracy. We will work tirelessly to make lights shine again in the hallways of NYCHA developments where they have long flickered. Safety and justice will go hand in hand as we work with police officers to reduce crime and create a department of community safety that tackles the mental health crisis and homelessness crises head on.
Oh, see, I thought he was going to defund the police. I could have sworn that's what he said previously. He's going to defund the police. But now he's saying he's going to work with the police. Well, this might not end up being so bad.
Excellence will become the expectation across government, not the exception. In this new age we make for ourselves, we will refuse to allow those who traffic in division and hate to pit us against one another.
Yeah, but what does that like? What does that look like? What do you mean?
In this moment of political darkness, New York will be the light. Here, we believe in standing up for those we love. Whether you are an immigrant, a member of the trans community, one of the many black women that Donald Trump has fired from a federal job.
What about white people? Can white people be in New York?
A single mom still waiting for the cost of groceries to go down. Or anyone else with their back against the wall. Your struggle is ours too. And we will build a city hall that stands steadfast alongside Jewish New Yorkers and does not waver in the fight against the scourge of anti-Semitism. Where the more than 1 million Muslims know that they belong. Not just in the 5 boroughs of this city, but in the halls of power. No more will New York be a city where you can traffic in Islamophobia and win an election.
Honestly, he's got a good point because, like, the only thing that I was hearing really in opposition to him was, one, socialism, bad, but two, I was just nonstop on X. Like, especially right towards the end, it was like a Hail Mary attempt, like showing videos of the World Trade Center getting hit by a plane. Like, this is why you shouldn't vote for Zoran Mom. Like, come on. That's so pathetic. Like, that's how you know you're cooked. You're just throwing out these last ditch punches and shit. Just swinging for anything, trying to get something. Like, and they knew they were cooked. That's why they were putting up shit like that. But yeah, the identity politics, one way or the other, is not going to work. Like, if you think about the opposition to him and what people were saying, primarily, what I was seeing was mostly, I don't want to say it's like Islamophobic, but everybody was talking about the fact that he's a Muslim and he's from India and he's this and he's that. And it was all centered around his identity. So it's like reverse identity politics in a way, you know? It's like the same thing, but just against him. I mean, he's like the Donald Trump of New York City, essentially. I mean, like, their policies and stuff are completely different, but he approached the city and was like, hey, I'm going to do something for you, you know? And whether or not it's true, whether or not these things are actually going to work, I mean, that's all up for debate. We'll see, right? But the big thing is, like, he had a plan. He was offering something. And everybody else was just like, oh, like, you're an Islamist. How do you feel about Jewish people? And he was like, I don't give a fuck who you are. Like, we're going to do what's right for New York. And, you know, we're not going to prioritize. I mean, that's like the vibes I was getting from him. So that identity shit isn't going to win nothing. And he wasn't really running on identity, if you think about it. If you actually look at it objectively, I mean, again, you could say his plans were dumb, but, I mean, he wasn't really running on that. That's exactly why he won. He's right.
This new age will be defined by a competence and a compassion that have too long been placed at odds with one another. We will prove that there is no problem too large for government to solve and no concern too small for it to care about.
I saw this post where somebody was like, they clipped that section right there, and they were like, that is one of the most terrifying things I've ever heard. I was like, what are you talking about? People are crashing out over this. They are freaking out because this guy won the mayor race. But I didn't even like. What? Since when did so many people care about what the fuck was going on in New York City? Like, none of these people even lived there. I don't know why they care so much.
For years, those in City Hall have only helped those who can help them. But on
That's true. I mean, we all know that that's pretty much like, that's kind of the state of politics in a lot of places. He's got a good point, and if that's the message, I mean, I wasn't really paying close attention to his campaign, but if that's the message he was getting across, I can see why it resonated with a lot of people.
January 1st, we will usher in a city government that helps everyone. Now, I know that many have heard our message.
And I'm honestly, I'm sure it is like that in New York. I mean, it's been around for a long time. It's one of the oldest cities in America, the financial hub of the world, and definitely America. I mean, he's probably got a good point. I mean, the good old boys, so to speak, in New York, people that have been around for generations, you know?
Only through the prism of misinformation. Tens of millions of dollars have been spent to redefine reality and to convince our neighbors that this new age is something that should frighten them.
Don't be scared, just let it happen.
As so often occurred, the billionaire class has sought to convince those making $30 an hour that their enemies are those earning $20 an hour. They want the people to fight amongst ourselves so that we remain distracted from the work of remaking a long broken system.
See, that the thing is like his message, that message in particular, I mean, you could say the same, you could hear the same thing from both sides of the political aisle. I mean, it is really kind of true that a lot of the issues that we're facing in America are class issues. And Donald Trump's way of going about fixing it and Zoran Mamdani's way of going about fixing it are both very different, but they're both essentially speaking to the same crowd and addressing the same issues.
We refuse to let them dictate the rules of the game anymore.
This is why he won.
They can play by the same rules as the rest of us. Together, we will usher in a generation of change. And if we embrace this brave new course, rather than fleeing from it, we can respond to oligarchy and authoritarianism with the strength it fears, not the appeasement it craves. After all, if anyone can show a nation betrayed by Donald Trump how to defeat him, it is the city that gave rise to him.
I really don't think he's going to be able to do much to stop him, but I mean, we'll see. Just one little city like the mayor of New, like, what exactly are you going to do?
And if there is any way to terrify a despot, it is by dismantling the very...
If migrants or like illegal aliens start like migrating to New York en masse, I mean, you're going to have one problem on your hand, like where are all these people going to go? How are we going to get housing for them, et cetera, et cetera. But like if I was Donald Trump, I'd just like set up ICE and state troopers on the border of New York, just catching like anybody and everybody that comes in. I mean, I understand that like that's his message and he's trying to, I just don't really understand what exactly he's going to do to stop Donald Trump from doing anything.
Conditions that allowed him to accumulate power. This is not only how we stop Trump, it's how we stop the next one. So Donald Trump, since I know you're watching, I have 4 words for you. Turn the volume up.
Hey, there you go. You heard him. But yeah, I mean, I really don't see what he's going to be able to do to stop Donald Trump. I guess he's just trying to get everybody revved up, but there's really not a whole lot that the city of New York, like the mayor, could do to stop ICE. I mean, I guess there is things that he could do, but if he was like directly trying to stop ICE, I think he could legitimately get arrested and indicted for that. Which I don't think that would be a good thing, but that could happen. I don't know how much the mayor of New York has sway over like judges and stuff like that. Like I really don't know. But yeah, people are freaking the fuck out over this, and people are really mad. A lot of people are saying like, that he's a terrorist, jihadist. I've been seeing nothing but that on X all day, which I don't really think that's the right thing to be saying right now. I think the best thing to be saying right now is, okay, you said you're going to do all this stuff. You said you're going to make it better. Let's see it. And, I said the exact same thing about Donald Trump. I mean, I didn't vote, but I was like, I wanted Donald Trump to win because I wanted to see, what he would do. And he said he's going to lower gas prices and lower groceries and there's a lot of things that he was going to do for the economy that are going to be really good. And I was like, okay, let's see what you can do. Let's see it. Because I don't really believe anything that anybody, like, I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh, yeah, this is us. This is we are the part. Like, no. What are you going to do for me? And how is this going to change my life? Because the minute shit stops working out for me and things stop getting good for me is the minute I don't give a fuck about what you have to say anymore. So, I mean, like, so far, honestly, in my area, anyways, in Florida, I can't really prove if rent has gone down because a lot of people in my area are getting deported or leaving or the demographics are changing. But in a lot of places in Florida, some people say it's because of hurricanes, but I've been noticing it's in, I collect data from like Zillow and stuff like that. And I've been looking at like the cost of rent and the cost of houses and the availability of houses on the market. So the housing supply has shot like way the fuck up this year. And the cost of rent, like I moved into a bigger house this year and I'm saving like almost $1,000 on rent. And I'm pretty much in the same area. And all the rent in my area has gone down like significantly. So in a lot of ways, a lot of things have gotten a lot better for me under Donald Trump. So I'm like, okay, well, this is good. So far so good. Gas is cheaper. I don't really drive a whole lot because I work from home, but a lot of things have got, and groceries seem to be cheaper. Like I don't really do the grocery shopping, but the person who does has told me, oh, butter went down like $2. It's normally this much. So I've heard that like here and there, which is good. I pay for the groceries. So I've been hearing chicken and stuff, a couple things. I've been like, oh, this is cheaper all of a sudden. So, I say the same thing to him. Like you saying to Zoran, you're going to you say you're going to do all this great stuff and you're going to make New York a really great place to live. Okay, good. Make it a really great place to live. And if you do, I might move up there. I doubt it, but if it really is that great and you're giving all these great things, free childcare, all this stuff, rent is going to be cheaper, state run or, government run grocery stores. Okay, let's do it. That's the correct way to respond to this. I mean, we live in America, and America is great because, well, I can live in Florida and have a totally different experience than somebody who lives in Oregon. And I can be very happy with my experience in Florida, and the person in Oregon can be very happy with their experience in Oregon. And they can try things and test legislation and try different things, and the rest of the country can look at them and say, okay, did this work or did this not work? Is that what we want to do here? And so, I mean, hey, if he wants to do this, if everybody wants him to do this, and this socialist thing is what they want to do, which I think New York was kind of already like headed towards the socialism. I mean, as far as like the laws and you can't have guns, just all the stuff they have going on there is like, it seems like it's already there. I don't really know how much more he's going to be able to do. Maybe add a couple programs here or there. But, that's what makes America great. Is he can absolutely be a democratic socialist, and he can run for government, and he can get elected into office, and he can implement his ideas, and we can all watch and see what happens and see if it works. So, it's too early to say. Some of the stuff, I'm not a big, political, economic person in the sense where, I really understand history to an extreme degree where I can, explain in detail how this isn't going to work. But just at its face value, the stuff that he's saying, it's I don't know, it sounds good and all, but it seems kind of far-fetched because how are you going to pay for it is the big thing. One thing I do know is in a lot of these countries where there are these social programs, like Saudi Arabia, for example, I think they pay, if I remember correctly, I met some people when I was living in Virginia, Northern Virginia area. There was I used to meet a lot of Saudi students, and the government paid for their education. They would come to the U.S. Not only was their education, their college paid for, but they also had a stipend or something. They each got $5,000 a month in money just to spend on whatever. So they would rent these really big houses together, and it was crazy. But Saudi Arabia has a sovereign wealth fund, so they're very oil rich, and the government in some way has incorporated that oil and the sales from oil and stuff like that so that the money from that gets paid into this sovereign wealth fund, and that's how a lot of those programs are funded. In Norway, it's the same thing. I think they're really rich in oil or gas or something like that. And they have a social program there as well where they don't have to pay for college. Same kind of thing. The Sovereign Wealth Fund pays for that. So I'm not opposed to the government doing something like that and doing things that will benefit people, paying for college or paying for childcare or things like that. But he just really hasn't articulated something that really explains, how he's going to make that happen. Or he's just saying tax the rich, which, at least from my perspective, any example I've seen where these social programs or these social safety net programs or these things that help the general population with paid college and daycare and stuff like that, it's almost never paid for by directly taxing people that are very wealthy. It's always some other, these sovereign wealth fund kind of programs, which I think Donald Trump created one recently. I don't know how it's getting funded, but yeah, so just at face value, it's okay, that sounds good. I don't think you're going to be able to do it. Because the thing is we live in a capitalist, well, not an entirely capitalist country, because the federal government makes up 1/3 or two, it might be 1/3, it might be 2/3, I don't remember exactly, of our gross domestic product. So we actually have a very big government. So since the 1950s, we have been kind of shifting back and forth through various degrees of big government, socialism kind of situation. And we would get a Republican and we move a little bit away from that, and we get a Democrat, we move a little bit closer to that. But ultimately, after the 50s, we've been very much on the left side of a socialist big government situation. And but still at the core, we're still a capitalist country. So I think some of the stuff that he's trying to do, I just don't think it's going to work here. And I think, especially because he's the mayor of New York, there's so much outside influence, where I just feel like a lot of the stuff he's going to try to do is going to get stopped out. Not directly from Trump, but just because of property taxes and stuff. You're going to freeze rent, but you're going to raise taxes on property taxes. So well, that doesn't make sense, because if you raise property taxes on landowners and you freeze rent, I guess that would solve the problem of them passing on the expense of property taxes to the tenant. But I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. I don't see how that's going to work, and I don't see how he can say that it's going to work when there's really no working example of this working anywhere else. really at all. So I don't know, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I want to see what he does. And I think that's the correct response. Let's see what you got. Show us what you can do, and if it works out, good. Maybe we should start doing that. I just don't think it will.